We need you to be on the comments too.
Okay.
Hello, darlings. And welcome to Tags Live, the live edition. This is episode 764. I'm your host for the evening, Kodi Maurice Doggette. I'm just filling in for Steve B.
Mhm.
But I'm here alongside my bookie boothay, Teddy Alexis. How you
Hey,
doing,
hey, hey.
Teddy?
I love how you started that. It was like a little bit of like I don't know,
Meekish.
like a phone call service.
Oh,
Hello.
we on the chat line is what you're
Yeah.
telling me.
Yeah. Latichat.com.
I'm girl six right now, is what you're telling me.
Mhm. Love
Oh
it.
yeah, all those references our young listeners are not going to get, but it's okay. It's okay. They were for us and for
Yeah.
the people of a certain age. So
What's a phone
yes.
line?
What's a landline?
Yeah.
But are you ready to get into some hooting and hollering and shenanigans and shenanigans tonight,
Hell
boo?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, well, let's jump right in. Well, I wanted to start our show out today with a sexy sex talk in and around casual dating. What happens when you want more than what happens when you want less? Why does there seem to be no in between? Why are there only two extremes? Why does there seem to be nothing in between a serious relationship and a meaningless one night stand? Yeah, I myself I'm happily dating, and I find it difficult navigating wanting more of a connection than casual sex, but not quite wanting a full on relationship. So, Teddy, tell us where you are currently, and have you ever like yearned for more than what lies between, not the legs, but what lies between those two things, those two extremes?
I think so. It's funny. Well, currently single, Pisces looking.
Okay, thank you. Pisces looking, hit her
Yeah.
up.
And what they say about Pisces is not right. It's not correct. We're not crazy. Um, y'all are
Okay.
crazy. No, but the funny thing is that I think I agree with that. That it's there is no in between, and
Mhm.
yeah, and there are situations where you kind of need a more casual um relationship, but it's still a relationship, right? So to me, the only time that I've been successful at that, like something along the lines of friends with benefits, if that makes
Mhm.
sense,
Yeah.
was during the pandemic. I was
Okay.
able to establish somebody for long term that we were really on the page of we're just friends, but we do have benefits, and we were intentionally seeing each other, for sexy time, but
Okay.
also it wasn't like a thing of like I don't know how to explain it, but it wasn't a thing about just the thing. Like we will hang out, but
Okay.
I
And
think
well, how did that go? Because we also talked about like friends with benefits and how it's like a struggle to
Mhm,
have a friend. Did you really consider them to be your friend? We've talked about this on a couple episodes ago with Sebastian
mhm,
Cause.
yeah,
And I was saying that I think it's really difficult to actually be a friend with somebody because you actually care about them
right.
and have sex with them as well. Because me personally, I tend to fall into boyfriend mode really easily. So that's why I say I'm
Mhm.
struggling because I'm trying to boo up all the hoes, and that is not. So tell us a little bit about like how you navigated having sex with somebody that you felt like was a friend.
Well, well, before the bigger context is that I have not been successful at that type of
Oh,
relationship
wow. I thought you were
other
going
than the
to.
pandemic. Remember?
Yeah, yeah, no, but what in that situation where you said you were successful? Because I thought I heard right.
Yeah, I think.
What?
Well, if the I feel like if the world is on fire and nobody's allowed to hang out with anybody, men would really commit to a friend with benefit.
So you're telling me the only way to have a successful friends with benefits is for there to be
Another
a global
pandemic.
pandemic.
Yeah. That's with the only data that I have, which is my own experience, because
The only data. Okay, all right. So
because
we
I
we
don't
need.
research this. Um, so let me. I think that personally, I think I can do it. I definitely can do it.
Okay.
Because I'm all about intentionality, and I feel like because there's a lack of intentionality. Like for example, when you say, oh, I'm friends with benefits, but I want to boo them up, then you're saying that you're not intentionally being friends with benefits. You're
Yes.
actually doing the opposite, which is I want this to go to another level, which is not the intentionality of friend with benefits, unless that's where you guys are, because that could be a step towards relationship. And it has to be established from the beginning that, hey, by the way, we're going to do this friend with benefits, but I am aiming to maybe be a couple eventually. That's different than we're just friends with benefits and we're intentionally just doing that. And I don't think it's clear that the people that are engaging into these relationships are not in that kind of vein. In my case,
Hmm.
I can say that every time that I intentionally try to get a friends with benefits, most people what they want is something casual and something more transactional with the needs that arise at the moment, meaning booty call or the scratch of the week. Because right, because as
Oh, are you
opposed
doing the
to,
scratching?
well, scratching and sniffing, right?
Oh,
There's
okay, scratching and sniffing.
among other things. um, then it it creates a situation where there is not that kind of agreement, right? You're not getting into the
Mhm.
agreement because it's the flavor of the week kind of situation. And when you get to these bigger cities, like you and I are,
Mhm.
where it's like Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, 31 flavors, and there's a lot of itch to scratch out
Is it
everywhere.
31? You know what? I was gonna say 51, but
Well, oh,
51.
51. Girl, I can never count that high, so I'm good with 31. No, but I hear what you're saying
Mhm,
about friends with benefits and being intentional with that whole situation. Because I feel like for me, maybe I go in with the intentions of like something casual, something
mhm,
necessarily where we connect, but the unintentional arises and I start to catch feelings. But you know what? Casual definitely means different things to different people. Like, I
right,
feel like for a lot of people, it just means no exclusivity. Like, it could be open to anybody. So, like, and you don't plan ahead for any future endeavors, but and definitely no labels as far as that's concerned. But what does
right.
it mean to you when you hear the word casual as far as casual sex is concerned?
I don't know. It's casual means to me everyday wear. So when you're saying
Oh,
casual,
you're
it
trying to
just
get it every day? Oh my god.
I don't know. It just doesn't.
Good
It
for you.
doesn't ring.
Me
Honestly,
too.
it's just some of the language that we use around it is just so ambiguous,
Mhm.
right? So then we engage into these relationships that literally there are no real meanings behind the words that we're saying. That's why I'm saying is that it was so hard. And sometimes people don't want to navigate anything that is, because I'm going to be very truthful. During my pandemic friends with benefits successful relationship, I did catch feelings for the person.
See?
However, hold on, let
Oh,
me
okay,
explain.
sorry. I was jumping ahead. Go ahead.
Too much pre-coming already. No. The,
That's a good situation right there when you're so
but the
excited you
thing
start
is,
freaking out. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
I obviously have to say that there was no problem in the sex. The sex was amazing, but
Mhm.
the idea, it's all. I think that any other person in my situation would have just be like, "Oh, let's be a couple or let's break up because I'm catching feelings." But in my case, I just intentionally was like, I don't know, I don't think he's in the same page, and it's okay if I have a little bit of feelings towards him because love, like we say this, love is love is love. Love
Well,
is love, right?
I wanna add
However,
on to
let me finish what I'm trying to say.
that. I
I
got
need
things to
you
say too, bitch.
I need you to stop edging and calm down for a second.
That's what they said last night.
I
Um,
need you to calm down for a second. So I was able to just have those feelings and keep the relationship as friend with benefits. And I didn't get hurt at the end because I kept intellectualizing it that we were just friends with benefits, and I happened to like him a little more than usual, but that's also, it also helps us in the relationship in terms of sex. Go ahead.
So in that whole, I heard everything you said, but in that whole
Yeah.
thing, I just realized I have another friend that I said
Mhm.
previously that I only had one friend that one person that I considered a friend that I had sex with, and I just thought
Right.
of a second person now.
Okay.
So shout out to them. Hey, boo, how you doing?
Hey,
But
them.
I, I feel like I agree with you 100% because you said love is love or something like that, which I've heard
Hmm.
before somewhere. But I want to say that love is a choice. And I
Mm.
feel like you can actually, those feelings, I feel like are kind of inevitable, honestly. I feel like when you have sex with somebody, then those emotions are going to arise whether or not you want them to or not. But with this friend that I just realized that I had, hey boo, I feel like um, there are aspects of our relationship where, like you said, you realize that you are friends and that they don't want anything more, and you said you didn't want anything more. There are extenuating circumstances in this relationship
Hmm.
that I'm talking about because he does have a husband.
Okay.
So I definitely know that I don't want to take anybody's husband from them. So I'm
Hmm.
not going to act on these emotions. But
Sure.
that also informs me that I am capable of not necessarily acting on the feelings that arise. So that's so wild because I didn't even know that that was going to come up in this therapy session that we call a
Hmm.
podcast.
Right, 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 right.
It's so funny because human beings were like wired for like uh, repetition after
Hmm.
pleasure. So, because great sex can bring up so many different emotions, like uh, it makes you euphoric. It breeds familiarity and trust and
Absolutely.
comfort. Most importantly, but why do you think there is so much shame around wanting more from a casual relationship?
First of all, I didn't know you had side chick vibes today, but I love
I
that.
mean, it's good. It's good. It's good being a side chick. Let me tell
Right?
you that,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
when you're in the space that I'm in, because I am not looking for a relationship. I know I've said that numerous times.
Hmm.
Maybe it's changing a little bit. Maybe I'm going to
Right.
start dipping my toe into that whole spectrum. But being a side chick isn't that bad. You get a lot of the
Right.
benefits without some. I've had a lot of headaches in my relationship, so and
Right.
I have none of that being the side chick. So. If only I could
Well, I
not feel
think
this way
that
like they do.
I think that's
But go
the
ahead.
point. That the point that connects, that there's always that, actually that point that disconnects casual to the most serious relationship, that it's that people don't want to deal with the actuality of a relationship. Because if you think about it, even in a friends with benefits situation, that's why I don't think people want to engage on those. There has to be certain rules of engagements, and I
Yeah,
feel like as gay men, and the oppression that we've have had, um we kind of don't want to engage into those rules of engagement, because really the rules of engagements for relationships are not built for us, right? They are built for cis straight people, for in
that's
order
right.
for them to engage into these alleged relationships that are literally marriage contracts that they engage with, that we never participated in, at least on the modern day of the United States of America. So there's a lot of that it's gonna stack against us, right? Because if you're putting two people together that are both male and they don't want to engage in those rules, then there's always this never-ending kind of cycle. That's why, like, there's all of these tropes of like men cycling through everybody in town, right? So
I feel personally attacked.
yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. But why do you think that people are afraid to admit that they care? If we are wired, and I
Right.
believe I am, if we are wired to feel like a connection, why do you think people don't want to admit that they care? I can tell you why I think it is.
Because they don't want that connection
Yeah.
intentionally, because
Oh,
it's
I
going
don't.
to ruin that freedom that they feel when they're engaging into this behavior. And but at the same time, I feel like um it's sometimes even more rewarding when you're really engaging with somebody that is your friend, that you can actually have something in common, have some banter, and you're intentionally meeting to fuck each other out. Like, it's just, I think that's fun. But some people really just want the dark room, ass up, no questions, I don't see your face, you don't see mine, and that's, it is what it is, I
I
guess.
enjoy those moments, I have to say,
Right.
but I personally think there's more to it than people not really wanting to feel those experiences. I think that people are afraid of being vulnerable. Well, maybe it's there. It's definitely both for a lot of people, but I feel like for a certain percentage, I can't say everybody because I don't know everybody, and I don't think that
Hmm.
I'm in the brains of every single human being out there in the world. But I do feel like for a lot of people, being in a relationship or even like a casual sex, friends with benefits type of situation, people don't want to be vulnerable. And I feel like if I was having casual sex with someone
Hmm.
and I was afraid to let them know that I wanted more, I would definitely not uh, let them know because that would to me would feel like I'm losing something. And
Yeah.
it's a shame that we actually think about vulnerability as losing a position of power. That we feel like vulnerability means with weakness. So I think that's why, for me personally, a lot of people don't want to expose themselves in that way. So yeah, it's really strange. Do you have any more thoughts on that, Bookie Boo?
No, it is. I really still believe that people don't want to be accountable to what it is to have a relationship, because even with friendship, that is a relationship, right?
Yeah,
So it all of your relationships are relationships. So um when we're being more disconnected in these societies, right, the more disconnected, but we still need those human interactions. And when you remove everything that comes with a relationship just to have the thing, right, in this case is the sex, then there's not much more to go from that. But um yeah, it's and it's messy. Those things are messy in practice, because there's two human, or sometimes more humans, interacting, and they all have feelings, they all have their
look,
baggage. Look.
I could be in a throuple. I could be in a throuple as long as it's a
Yeah.
close throuple. Let's do it. Let's go.
No, you
But
can.
what do you
No,
think?
you
Do you
can.
think that? Huh? What do you say?
I don't think you can, but okay.
I know that I can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. As long as those dynamics are straightened out beforehand and kind of there are guidelines for how I don't like rules because like rules are kind of hard and fast and guidelines I feel are
Uh-huh.
more malleable. So I think
Can
that
you give me a difference between a guideline and a rule, please?
a guideline is, I just said it's more
This
malleable.
is the
Like
quiz part of the podcast.
this is the question and answer portion. Actually, I do have a couple more questions for
Sure.
you. Do you think that wanting to hook up again means you caught feelings?
Say the first part again. I couldn't hear it.
Do you think that wanting to hook up after a casual sex encounter means that you have caught feelings?
Oh, so like a repeat? Like I want a repeat?
Like if me and you had sex and I was like, "Ooh, I want to do that
Uh-huh.
again." Do you think that I've caught
Oh,
feelings for you at that point?
no. I think that I got something that I liked, and that I like to have it again or expand more, right? Um, so anytime. I love a repeat. I love a repeat.
And I love it when they want to repeat
Yeah.
because, baby, there is
Yeah.
nothing more for that can stroke your ego more than having a guy be like, "Damn, let's do that again."
Yeah.
That is, I've gotten that several times, but especially in the past couple years when I've been out in the streets. But it,
Mhm.
I had it happen last night. He was like, "Come back." I was
Oh,
like, "Oh."
that's good. Well, and it's and that's a good thing, and that's like a step in a good direction. So there's something called the new dick syndrome, which is not really called that, but basically is that males have kind of like this genetic disposition of um really engaging into the new partner thing excitement, and that's something
Mm.
that they get off on, meaning the first
Ah.
time they engage with sexual intercourse with somebody. um but I found, even though as exciting as it is to hook up with a new person, that sometimes when I'm building on somebody in terms of sex, like we're doing things and kind of exploring each other, and I'm like, oh, I like that this person like this, and like I'm gonna go more like um I find that really gratifying. So I think that in my case, I feel that that really trumps what they call like, which is called the new pussy syndrome. But
No, we
yeah,
can change that. We didn't.
yeah,
I'm not feeling that right now.
yeah.
um,
So yeah.
we can call it new dick syndrome. So, that's okay with me. I'm okay being new dick. I'll be perfectly fine with that.
Literally, what I said is totally the opposite of that, but okay.
What?
I said that even though that is exciting, that when I build on with somebody, meaning that they're not
Oh.
new dick anymore,
Oh, okay, okay.
it's a
Never
repeat
mind.
dick,
I missed
repeat
that
dick.
part. I was reading Bryce's comment.
I know it's like half of the
It's
Bible here.
it's war and peace in these
The
comment sections
Corinthians,
right now. So, do you want to read it? Can you read it for us, Teddy?
the whole thing.
No. Yes, please.
Okay, I haven't. All right. Friends with benefits are often just quote unquote relationships and unquote for people who wants intimacy without accountability, loyalty, or commitment. Period. People say love is love, unquotes, until love requires sacrifice, consistency, honesty, and responsibility. Then it suddenly becomes, I'm not ready for labels. A lot of modern dating is people wanting emotional, physical, and romantical benefits of a relationship while avoiding the responsibilities of being one. A lot of just having fun is really the fear of being hurt or fully vulnerable with someone.
I hear that. What are your thoughts on that, Teddy?
It's very similar to what I was saying, for
Yeah.
sure, right? So,
Yeah, I think we were both kind of saying that. So, thank you,
mhm.
Bryce, for weighing in.
Hey,
And
Bryce.
yeah, final thoughts on casual sex and wanting to live kind of in between casual sex and a relationship.
Love all of the things around it. I think intentionality always wins. And obviously disclosure and having conversations with your partners um can make playtime a better time.
Sweet. Perfect. Well, for me, connection and casual aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. And, I'm going to try and continue riding that line. So let us know what you think in the comments and on tags.com, where we will continue this conversation. Sweet. Moving right along. Eryka Caldwell, a transgender woman, was allegedly stabbed to death by her boyfriend in her Bushwick apartment on Sunday. Taylor Brown, the inaugural director of New York City's Office of LGBTQTIA. I don't know if I got that in the right order, but I got them
You
all.
probably didn't. That's
Um,
okay.
Condemns the act, saying, "In New York, we stand against the unequivocally against this unequivocally, and that's this administration's position. No one should feel unsafe or that their life is in danger simply because of who they are." And yeah, that was on a phone interview with them. So, Teddy, what are your thoughts on this senseless act?
Well, first of all, big props to Mayor Mandani and creating this new office of the LGBTQI plus affairs, which the only letter that is intentionally in an order is L, because we put the
Okay.
lesbians to the front because of their suffrage during the AIDS pandemic and the helps to gay men and the people that were
So I was
suffering.
right.
You were not right on the other order, but it's okay. But this
But I
one,
got the L. I put the L first.
however, Cody, because this is a title of an office, you have to say how it's spelled. Just say it for the record.
Oh, there's always a loophole and a caveat with you.
She
Continue
gets
your
she gets
statement, darling.
she gets to be a professor sometimes. So,
Too many times.
this is the continual battle for us to advocate for trans people. There is a rise on domestic violence against especially our trans women, and this is really concerning. And you know really advocate for your trans friends, especially if they're in toxic relationships, that they need to get out of those relationships as soon as possible and not really wait. It's really statistically more likely that if your partner was already violent, that they are going to keep being violent and be more aggressively violent. There is a lot of data on that. So some of these deaths are preventable, and the best way to go about it is not aggressively tell your friend you need to get out of there, but tell them you can come over whenever you want to. If you want to leave at 4 a.m., I'm going to leave the door ajar and you can come in. Always give
Wait
them a path for them to be able to be safe. I'm serious. I'm really serious
Give
about
them
this.
a key. Don't leave your door open. I live in New York City. I'm not leaving my door open for anybody, but I could not agree with you more. I think that this is senseless and it's 100% preventable, but there has to be that support system there. And it's just happening to too many of our trans brothers and sisters, along with being, I feel like a lot of these instances, like you said, is from people that they know. And I feel like uh,
Hmm.
for that to be the issue, then I think that, we can do something to actually help and actually really be there for our trans brothers and sisters right now. I'm actually kind of writing a song about that right now. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully I can get out in time for Pride, but I'm not quite sure as
Hmm.
far as the timeline is concerned. But, hopefully. So yeah, my heart goes out to the
Well, and
family.
the thing also with Erica, it's that she was this is her partner who allegedly stabbed her to death. And so these are domestic violence. That means that it
Yep,
happens in your house.
in the home.
So those are the things that I'm talking about. And I hopefully this new office of LGBTQI plus affairs, it's gonna provide some resources, because it seems like they have like a huge budget, and hopefully it will be a staple on New York
I like
City
it.
for decades and decades to come,
Yeah,
because
it's a really
we
good
do
thing.
have a lot of healing to do within our communities.
Thank you, Teddy. All right, moving right along. Wilson Cruz and Johnny Sibilly are
Woo!
reacting to this is Teddy's bread and butter. In our meeting, he was like chopping at the bit. He was like, I want to get to this by 9:30. I have so much to say because Rami
Yes.
Malek is picking up positive reviews for his latest movie, The Man I Love. It made its debut last week at Cannes Film Festival in
Mhm.
France.
Yes.
I almost said can, but it
It
movie
needs to
is
get canned.
directed by Ira Sachs, and Malek plays Jimmy George, a singer and experimental performer in the 1980s New York art scene. At a press conference last week, Malek said that when he first read the script, he was hesitant. He explained that playing a gay singer in the 1980s who developed AIDS initially felt too similar to his Oscar winning role as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. We all remember when he did that.
Hmm.
Many LGBTQ plus actors have outcried the decision to give a straight actor this opportunity, with Johnny Sibilly saying, I'm sorry if this sounds bitchy, but sometimes something will never sit right in my spirit about straight actors playing gay men dying of AIDS. He actually had a lot more to say than that, but, I'm reading a lot tonight. So, but I highly encourage you guys to go and read what he said because the post was absolutely beautiful. It was about, honoring our ancestors as far as gay culture is concerned. So, but Wilson Cruz always also weighed in as well, saying some of us would have been honored to bring our history alive because it is ours. Teddy, I know you have a lot of opinions on this, so tell me all about them and what you think of Rami and the criticism that he's receiving.
Well, and I do want to spend a little bit of time in this topic because this is something that is very close to my heart. And I love Wilson Cruz. I think he's incredible. He's been
Yeah,
a role model to me. I want to meet him sometime. And I feel for him and people like him and us because it really happens too much where in this industry the whole elevation of masculinity, of straightness, um, um, really is so severe that they wouldn't even. I'm sure that if Rami said no to this role, Wilson Cruz wouldn't even be in the top 50 people that they
the
will
movie
even
will get made.
consider if it was gonna get made, he wouldn't even be in the top 50 people that they will ask for it. And probably not even a queer person will be in the top 30. Like I'm telling you, I know how this works and it never is. I think Guy
Wait,
Brennan
not
actually.
not Luke, not Luke Evans, not Matt Bomer. You don't think any of them would be in the top 30?
No, because even them, if you think about it, they're not getting like the blockbusters or anything like that. They will get like a kind of like a French gay thing every now and they will have things like that. But no, it really isn't. It really, it's not that way. They really want somebody because they really feel that that's what acting is. That somebody straight just embodying someone else. That is and we see it all the time. Like if you look at the Oscars, there is so many queer um stories that get recognition at the acting level, and it's always because a straight person is putting it. If a queer person is doing a role, they never get any heat within their. You didn't see like Bowen like trying to get like supporting actor or anything like that, even though that he don't have anything. But if we had it playing a queer role, it wouldn't even gotten that kind of heat. um so I think Guy Brennan, who also commented on his Instagram, it is also in
Mhm.
an article. He said something that actually really felt true to me because he went a little bit harder. Guy Brennan is a gay actor. He's also in Fire Island and a bunch of other queer content. But he says the most annoying part of cis straight people playing trans and gay roles, it's that part of their press it will be how much of an indignity it was to be doing this role. I had to kiss somebody with a beer. It was so hard, and that's part of their narrative in order
Did
to
Rami say
get
that though?
who.
Did Rami Malek say anything like that?
He just said that it was too much of the same thing to play another gay guy.
Okay.
He already did the gay guy. I don't have like we don't have a
I don't
ton
have
of
any more
stories
gay
to
guys
tell.
in me.
Yeah, I just did the gay guy. That's like my token. Like it's a Pokemon, right? I already got the Pikachu. I don't need another one. Like that's literally what he's saying, that he already did that. It's not important. When we have a wealth of stories, just like every other human race or human people, to tell these stories. So it's funny because I just feel like that's a new niche that people are finding in storytelling. It will just be like if your stories are kind of mad, if you make the the interest a queer love, then all of a sudden, like something that it was really successful that I found it so bad was Hater Rivalry because those queer stories were so
Oh
unreal to me,
no.
and
How about
so
that? How do I kick you off
dramaturgic. You can.
this? Not
You
heated
can.
rivalry.
Yeah, I think those characters were really unreal and really superficial, and none of them true ran true to me. And it's
Did you
because
watch
the
the whole thing
writer.
though?
I did, and and I read the book too. So, yeah.
Okay.
So when I'm experiencing something like that from the writing standpoint, as somebody that is trained in writing, um, it really feels so unauthentic and so superficial. And clearly, you people think that they can just write a story and then just like kind of like switch the markers up. But some cultures haven't give up their culture in order to be successful.
Mm,
Cough, 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 cough.
damn. That
you
that
know,
was fire. Continue.
yeah. And that's the reason why when they try to just swap out cultures and put like something white into another culture, it never feels true
Yeah.
because the cultural markers are never there. The same thing is with LGBTQIA plus stories, right?
So you think that's okay.
You
All right.
can just write a cis white couple and then just swap it into a queer couple, and then that's gonna work out. There are so many nuances that are not going to be there. So I have. Do you have anything to say? Because I do have a couple more stories
You
that I
have
want to get
more
into.
things to say?
Oh hell yeah!
You've been talking for 20 minutes. No.
Talking about therapy. This is my therapy, bitch.
No, okay. So I do have a couple rebuttals because
Okay.
I I see your point 100%. I think that a part of me feels like gay stories should be told, like there should be some type of a connection to the story as far as gay stories are concerned. But I have a little bit of pushback because, and
Go
I've
ahead.
always felt that gay actors should play gay roles. But then that whole thing came about with the guy from, it was like a, oh God, what's the name of the story? Anyway, I'll remember in just a second. But
Okay.
Kit Harrington from that show, Heartstopper.
Oh
Got
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Come on, brain. And nobody knew what his sexuality was, but he was still figuring it out. And I think that you really, when it comes to sexuality, you can't really know or define what it is because it's such a spectrum. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not a binary. It's not like you're black or white or, and even that is
Hmm.
kind of a spectrum, honestly. But like the society only puts two things on it, and I think that is something that has not been explored yet. But I'm so ready to explore it. Get ready for next week. So as far as sexuality is concerned, because it is such a spectrum and because so many people can have so many different types of experiences, I feel like as long as you have some connection to our stories as queer people, I think it's fine for those people to play art to represent us in media. My real problem with this whole thing is it doesn't allow actual queer actors to have the same opportunities as straight actors have. And so I think that is my gripe with this whole situation. And my last and final thought is I did not realize that I loved a show with two straight actors that I haven't done the research playing gay.
Hmm.
Have you seen Interview with the Vampire, the TV series?
Yes.
Fantastic
Hmm.
portrayals of queer actors. And I think
Yeah.
that both of them are straight. I'm like not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that both of them are straight. And it's because they pay so much homage and they give so much uh, they put so much into their relationship and their representation of queer people that I think that it's fine because it's a beautiful story and they are reverent when it comes to their portrayal of our
Yeah.
our history and who we are as people and the time that are representing. So I can't wait for it to come back, and that
Yeah.
really made me rethink or recontextualize my opinion on straight actors playing gay. What else do you have to say?
Yeah, no, and that's really interesting. With Kid Connor was a kid, and that's like a very different situation because
Okay.
those are kids. And with Interview with the Vampire, that's that when we're talking about Rami Malek specifically, those two stories are real stories about real queer people that he's portraying. Very different from these gay vampires that got together, even though we know what Hollywood did with Interview with the Vampire, which they totally erased the queer stuff when they did the 90s
They did the
movie,
movie. Yeah.
even though in Anne Rice is very intentional about this vampires being hella horny. So um, I don't have a
As they
ton to
should
say
be.
about them. I really do enjoy Interview with the Vampire. Um, but we have to be also conscious. I'm not saying that I don't want any straight people within the queer storytelling. That's not what I'm saying. But we have to be intentional of how we're doing it and why we're doing it. Like you came to with me to the festival. I'm not gonna say the name here in Hollywood, right?
Say.
So that
Mhm.
year was the first year they eliminated the LGBT programming. So we were programmed against everybody else, and it was really
The
hard to get the queer.
heterosexual and yeah.
They
So
they just call it English programming, quote unquote
okay.
English, because there's also a Latina programming
Oh, okay.
the that I also participated, but you were not in town for that. So but my point is that the year before, there was the LGBT programming, and there is this little show that we were programmed against within the same program.
Mhm.
And I am very social. I'm like trying to connect with everybody, and I'm talking to these kids, and there's like an older lady that is playing the mom, and of course I'm really gravitating to older people. I love people that have stories and things, and they happen to be there, and one of the guys was like not making eye contact with me,
Mhm.
and I tell my one of my cast members, I was like, I'm sure that this guy is playing gay and he's hella homophobic, and that's why he doesn't wanna like engage with us, because he don't want anybody to think that he's gay.
So the old
We
lady
go
that?
to the
Sorry, the
no,
older.
I'm thinking about that.
Oh, you're thinking this.
When
Okay.
we go to the dress rehearsal, that's exactly what happened. and we have to be conscious, because why are we bringing these people that are even homophobic to these
Yeah.
spaces? And that's what's happened to me so many times, where this straight homophobic dude, it's doing a show. I just did a festival where one of the guys that they cast as the main gay guy didn't want to kiss the other guy because he was straight, and I'm just like, why is that dude even here? You know what I mean? So we have to be conscious about our storytelling, and we need to take back the narrative. And hopefully, with these people speaking out, if we can change a couple of minds of producers out there, it can be better. Also, we need to write our own stories. That's why I never
Sure.
stopped writing since I was 17, and do that. I think that's the end of my rant.
Are you sure? I feel like you have a couple more rants in
If you
you.
have another rebuttal, I'm gonna do another rebuttal. But yeah.
No, I just have a little something to say because I do agree with you that when people that are outside of our community, straight people, straight guys in particular, that prey on the queer culture by, the gay for pay people that just want to capitalize off of us and take our money from us, but actually despise us as human beings. I think that's the ultimate, disservice. It's the ultimate insult to our community. So I, yeah, that I agree with you 100% on that. I just didn't know. What you typing there? Ted and Teddy. It's just meant to be. Oh, yeah, sure. So maybe we'll get you your own podcast for that, for your TED Talk, your Teddy Talk.
Sure,
Okay.
I'm
I keep
down.
getting a thumbs up from my computer. That's so interesting to me. Are we okay to move along? Do you have more to a rebuttal for my rebuttal?
No, I agree with you. I think we should be
Oh,
conscious about the people that we bring into their storytelling for sure.
fabulous. I just wanted to agree with
Mhm.
you too. So I'm glad we're on the same page and
Mhm.
agreeing. So moving right along,
Do you
Drag
want me
Race.
to read any of these comments? Some of them are from the left.
Sure, go right ahead.
Um, I think Adrian wanted to talk about our last hot topic, and he says that we need to address the blatant erasure of our trans community in the workplace. I work in healthcare, and we mention men and women with different orientations, and they are labeled LGBT, and they have to remind us that the trans community does exist. Oh, he says LGBTQIA, so intentionally leaving the T out. For sure. And most of our queer spaces are built because of the advocacy of trans people.
That's
We need to
right.
know that, starting with Pride, which Long Beach, you're trash for canceling it. Um, And then Bryce says about our last topic. Let's talk about how gay people financially support straight actor performing on gay roles on screen and gay for paid porn. Hey, rather than opening queer individuals. People desire what they cannot have. Snap, snaps. Yeah, I see that a lot, especially also with casting, where like they really they have a queer role and they really want somebody like super bush, and then they don't want like a queer person being butch. They just want a straight person, and because that's more palatable to them. Straight person posing as a queer person, which is mind blowing, but it happens so much.
Yeah, keep the comments coming in, y'all. Thank you so much. Actually, Teddy can stay up on those comments because I am focused on hosting right now. So
Yeah,
yeah, but
that's
Drag Race alum Honey Davenport makes history by winning International Mr. Leather. I just want to congratulate Honey Davenport. Each year, IML, the International Mr. Leather, attracts thousands of attendees from across the U.S. and beyond. There were 70 contestants this year, and the winner was Sir Honey Davenport from season 11 of Drag Race and a New York City staple for the longest time. And I'm so happy that she won the crown and she pulled the badge. And she even when she won, she said her opening tagline from season 11, which is "Honey is still raw and unfiltered." So I'm so happy for them, and I can't wait to see what they do with the Mr. International Leather title and crown, because we actually reported on something not too long ago about having to choose as queer people, as queer men specifically, whether you want to choose the wig or you want to choose the weights. And you have to, like, in society, you can't be masculine or feminine as a queer person. You have to, be between these two things. I guess that's the whole theme of this episode, is having to choose and what happens when you want to live in the middle. So yeah, I'm so happy that they didn't have to choose and they are out there exploring all their options as a queer person. What are your thoughts on this, Teddy?
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, you did. Well, Mr. Honey here, it's a very yummy, very
Totally.
tall, and I think that totally
Not very
deserves that
tall.
crown. Huh?
I don't
Well,
think they're that very tall.
they're
I've
not. Well,
seen them
the
in person.
person right next to them is like a foot shorter than them.
What?
So,
They must have on
don't you see
heels.
it in the picture?
I don't think they're that tall.
Okay.
I think I've seen them in person, and
Oh,
like they're nice and average height. I think they're on a pedestal. Yeah, they're on like a box or something like that.
but what about the little Asian guy that is right next to him? That's so
No, I
tiny.
think Honey is on a box, and that's where they accepted.
No, they're both in the pedestal. It's okay. It's
Their-
okay.
Okay,
Congratulations
all
to
right.
Mr. Honey. You call me anytime.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even go to scroll to the next picture.
Yeah.
I think that guy is just really short, is honestly
Yeah.
what's going on there. That's
Because for me,
hilarious.
he looks like
We have to
7'10".
We're going to put all those pictures on taxpodcast.com because it's pretty, yeah, they're just probably pretty short. But yeah, congratulations to Sir Honey Davenport. So moving right along, we're going to get into these Reddits and we're going to talk about being a submissive top. So there's a huge difference between lacking confidence and knowing exactly what turns you on. In our society, people are boxed into a rigid stereotype. I get the same theme. They think a top must always be a dominant controller and the bottom must be submissive. When I challenge that and express the exact opposite, they instantly mistake it for weakness and refuse to take me seriously. But for me, being a top who craves control isn't a flaw. It's a power dynamic. Maybe it stems from my past experience with older guys, but embracing the submissive side actually takes a lot of self-awareness. It's not about being weak. It's about the thrill of letting a partner take the wheel. Why does society always mistake deep confidence and unconventional desire for a lack of strength? What are your thoughts on being a submissive top? And what is your advice for this
For
person?
this top.
This top.
I got nervous. Do you see that?
What? That Honey Davenport is 6 foot? That's wild.
That's great.
Okay. Maybe I am a bad judge of height.
I love how
I
you were like, he's
was like,
average
no,
and he's
I
taller
didn't
than
say
you. Okay.
average. I thought
Hmm.
that they were like my height, but
Yeah,
6.
he's not 5'7" like
Oh
you.
yeah.
So
First of all, at 5'9 3/4. Okay.
are you?
All right. Let's call the doctor. Okay. What are your thoughts, Boo, on the submissive top?
Well, we need more of you, more submissive tops. And I think if most of you haven't experienced a submissive top, I highly recommend it.
What?
Uh, Doctor recommend it because there is something that it's actually very beautiful about a man that is up top and that he knows that he can pleasure you by giving himself up to you. So
Mm.
I think definitely you need a lot of confidence on that. I actually had one of my exes was very submissive in terms of topping, and at the beginning I was like really nervous about it, and he actually taught me how to pleasure him while he was being submissive, and we had amazing experiences like that. So and those are rare to in at least in my experience to find men that are willing or into that. But it's definitely something that is really fun, and I think it takes a lot of confidence and a
Yeah.
lot of definitely self awareness. Uh, but also there is like something that is caring about that person, that they're in service to someone else. So it's something
Mm.
very beautiful. And we were talking about circling back to relationship building. Um, that's a good trait. So if you have a submissive top in in your deck of cards, hold on to that ace. I'm just saying.
I love I love that analogy. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that just by you saying that he had to teach you how to please him, there's so much power in being submissive. I think
Yeah.
that people highly undervalue that submissive can be something that can bring out another part of you. I feel like for me, having been so dominant in my past experiences, uh, I'm actually considering and I really want to try to explore more of being what a submissive top looks like because
Hmm.
but I feel like for me I would have to like trust the person a lot and I would have
Absolutely.
to know them and really because it's a very vulnerable place to come from and I feel like for me it wouldn't come naturally so we would have to do something to play around in that arena more. So yeah, I think that this is very admirable and I think that more people should look into it and really explore the full gamut of what it takes to be a sexual being, a human being, all of those things. So yeah, I can't wait
Can I
that's what I think
expand a
life
little
is all
more?
about. Go ahead, darling.
So it also we also want to be conscious about like sometimes the extremes are kind of dangerous, and you can think about a more dynamic kind of situation where you know you're most submissive in this moment, then we get to you're more aggressive in this moment, and you go from moment to moment more than having those like I'm gonna be 100% submissive and I'm gonna be 100% dominant. I think that the key is to actually find kind of those balances, and really have a ton of fun. But sometimes the extremes are the fun part too. So I'm just saying that there are more options than this. Oh, hey, dog. Hey.
Doug, hey, Doug. We're gonna read that comment, Doug, because Doug is like a submissive top, you say, and he's volunteering his services. Or I don't know if he's
Yeah.
volunteering his feeling, but
He said,
I
I'm
don't
right
think he's
here.
volunteering. He's right here. I don't know if that's a volunteering. Can you let us know if you're open for submissions
I just said,
or
hey, hey,
applications?
hey, hey.
But yes, Doug is a submissive top, and we would like to explore that a lot. Well, you'll have to tell us your experiences, but we only have 6 minutes left. And I would like to get to this next topic because I think
Please.
it's amazing and I have a story to
Mhm.
tell. So,
Okay.
this is another Reddit, and it says, not to be gross, but does anyone else, if they say anything, but I think they mean anyone else, enjoy the smell of their own musk sometimes. And Teddy, what are your thoughts on musk, and do you enjoy your own scent?
No. Hard no.
not not just
I
no.
I let me guide you through my day. I shower when I
Talk to
wake
me.
up.
Okay,
If
me
I'm gonna
too.
go out, I shower again. Like
Oh
when I
wow.
go to the gym, I shower again,
Oh
and then when I
yeah.
go to bed, I shower again.
I shower
So
twice a day. Not
I
not all the
shower
time
at
when I'm
least,
going out.
if you counted that, that's at least 3 times on a slow day. So no, I don't like my scent. I like freshly
You like
showered. Yeah. So go ahead. You tell us your mug story because you've been wanting to say this for an hour now.
So I enjoy a nice bodily smell. I think that man smell is very erotic. I think that for me, my own musk can be intoxicating. I haven't put on deodorant today at all, but I don't stink. I think that, and I went to the gym today, and I don't smell. Stop. I took a shower this morning, and I don't stink. I smell a little bit like BO, but I feel like it is a very healthy BO. And I feel like it's just the right amount, because if it smells anymore, I'm going to put on deodorant right after we get off of here. Because if I go any further, it's going to actually turn into, we're getting some comments in the chat.
Yeah.
It's going to turn into the wrong kind of BO. Let me tell you about my story, and then I'll let you talk, okay? I have actually had experiences with men where they did not smell good at all.
Uh-huh.
I was having sex with this dude last week, right? And we were getting into it. We got a little bit funky. I was a little bit funky too, but he was more funky, and to the point where I was like, "Oh, this doesn't smell good." And
Uh-huh.
but I was still powering through, and then he put his armpit in my face, and I
Hmm.
said, "No, sir, we cannot do that." And he made me leave his apartment because he was like, "If you can't handle my musk, then I don't think I want to have sex with you right now." And I was like, "Fine with me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
leave." So yeah,
Mhm.
that's my musk story. I got kicked out because I didn't want to smell his funky armpit, and but he was super hot, and I would go back if he put on a little bit of deodorant. So yeah, what are you gonna say, Boo?
Usually the people that say that they stink so much.
Come through right now.
I have
You the
conversations about
I need
people
the
be like,
validation.
hold on. People are like, oh yeah, I found this crystal deodorant, blah blah blah. And
Not
I don't
Chris.
smell at all. And I'm like, bitch, you stink.
So as someone who is I'm telling you, I like a little bit of musk. I think it's very sexy. Okay, I'm gonna let you smell it when I come to LA next time.
No
And
thanks.
then
No thanks.
I
Unless
need
you're
somebody
gonna be a servant
that's
top,
listening.
then we can talk. But if you're just gonna
No.
give me smell you, no thanks.
Well, all right, folks. That's our show for this evening. You can follow our special guest host, Teddy Alexis, on Instagram at Teddy Alexis. You can follow me at Mr. Maurice on Instagram as well. You can follow Steve at I am Steve V. I am underscore Steve V on Instagram. And you can follow Tags Podcast at tagspodcast.com. Teddy, do you have anything coming up that you would like to promote?
I do not. I'm gonna take a break this summer. I'm really excited about that.
Oh,
But I do want everybody to see your video proof of love in YouTube
oh,
that I directed,
yes.
because that
You sure
is
did. Had a
our
good time.
most recent project and is amazing.
Thank you, Boom. You were an amazing director. Thank you so much for directing for me. And I got to come back. We got to work together again. So get ready.
Yes, please.
So thanks, everybody. And in the meantime, continue having hot,
Hot,
gay
gay,
sex.
sex. Yes.
Yes.